The whole JonBenet thing, you see it on TV all the time. All the terrible things that can happen to people. I was her age. She would be my age now. She would be pursuing her own career. Once you realize, like, she never got to grow up.
Back then, Thumper Gosney was JonBenet's friend and competitor on the Kitty Beauty pageant circuit.
JonBenet was the nicest girl. Like, she was very poised in all of her things she did.
Here in the foothills of the Rockies is the town where JonBenet Ramsey grew up. Boulder, Colorado, a quirky college town described by locals as 25 square miles of fantasy surrounded by reality.
We assumed we were living in a little town and that evil existed elsewhere.
The year was 1996. The Macarena at the top of the charts.
I love books.
Oprah started a book club. The country had just re-elected President Bill Clinton. As for the Ramseys, John and Patsy, 6-year-old JonBenet, and big brother Burke, age 9, they were the very picture of the good life. Wealthy, thanks to John's thriving computer business.
Patsy was a high society woman from Atlanta who knew how to decorate her house. John was a smart guy who had just been nominated or voted as Entrepreneur of the Year. So really, the two of them were high society for Boulder.
Patsy had just beaten ovarian cancer and was celebrating her 40th birthday. This was a Christmas that promised to be as merry and bright as the Ramseys' video greeting card.
We'd like to welcome you to our home and wish you a very Merry Christmas.
She decorated that place with Christmas trees in every room.
Family friend Pam Barday.
She was a Southern belle. Everything was about entertaining.
You say neither, and I say neither.
Patsy always liked to be in the limelight, and she was in the pageant system.
Let's blow the whole thing off.
This is an interesting item I'd like you to see.
The name JonBenet was a fanciful hybrid of her father's, JonBenet.
Pigtails, jeans, beautiful smile. I mean, she was just a mischievous, fun little girl.
JonBenet Ramsey.
At the age of 4, she began following in her mother's footsteps.
JonBenet, thank you.
That Christmas night of 1996, the Ramsey family had been out at a party at a friend's house. As they would tell Barbara Walters in an interview several years later, they got home well after dark.
JonBenet was asleep when we arrived home. We took her to bed, got Burke to bed, set the alarm, and went to sleep.
Before dawn the next morning, Patsy was the first one up. As she headed down this spiral staircase, something catches her eye, several pieces of paper.
There were 3 pages neatly laid across one of the rungs of the stairway.
Pages scrawled with a handwritten, heart-stopping message. It was a ransom note.
Of all of the evidence left behind, that ransom note is the most baffling.
Reporter Diane Diamond has covered the story from the beginning. She says the author of the ransom note seemed to know a lot about the family. The demand for $118,000 was close to the exact amount of John Ramsey's bonus that year.
A ransom note is not that long. A ransom note says, I have your child, I want $1 million, I'll call you later. This is 2.5 pages long. Whoever does that?
I just remember when I read, we have your daughter, it just, this overwhelming fear, and I just dashed back up those stairs as fast as I could and pushed her door open.
And then?
And then I just screamed for John.
JonBenet had vanished.
We are kidnapping. Hurry, please. Explain to me what's going on. Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God! Please. I'm okay. I'm sending an officer over. Okay. Please. Do you know how long she's been gone? No, I don't. Please, we just got out and she's right here. Oh my God, please.
The call was made to 911, and within 2 or 3 minutes, Patsy Ramsey's on the phone to her friends and neighbors. Come on over.
John was also making calls.
He said, they've got her. What do you mean they've got her? They've kidnapped JonBenet. She's gone.
And people were streaming through that house. They were in the kitchen. They were in the living room.
They're all talking. They're passing the ransom note around.
The police should have secured that scene by telling everybody, get out. I'm sorry, this is a crime scene.
It was just one of many mistakes police made that day. The first detective on the scene also did something that would radically compromise the case.
Linda Arndt tells the restless John, why don't you look around the house, see if anything is missing or looks strange. Start at the top and go to the bottom. But he didn't do that. He went to the basement first, where, of course, whoa, he finds his daughter's body.
I saw her lying on the floor with a white blanket. Her hands were tied above her head. She had tape over her mouth. Her eyes were closed.
And lo and behold, when John Ramsey finds the body, you now have John Ramsey at the crime scene.
John Ramsey picked that little girl up, took the tape off of her mouth, and dragged her upstairs in his arms. And then the coup de grace. He grabs a blanket, which is full of who knows what kind of contaminants, and throws it over the body. Right then and there, the police investigation was tainted.
JonBenet had been strangled with a length of cord, a vicious homemade weapon known as a garrote. She was hit on the head with enormous force, and there was evidence of sexual abuse.
I knelt next to her and I leaned down to her face. And John leaned down opposite me.
In her 1999 interview, Detective Arndt seemed to suggest to Elizabeth Vargas that in that moment, she was afraid of John Ramsey.
And we had a nonverbal exchange that I will never forget. And he asked if she was dead. And I said, yes, she's dead. And as we looked at each other, I remember, and I wore a shoulder holster, tucking my gun right next to me and consciously counting, I've got 18 bullets.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't know if we'd all be alive when people showed up.
When Patsy Ramsey saw her daughter's body, she collapsed.
I knelt down over her and just laid my body on her body and my cheek against her cheek, and it was cold. And I just kept saying, no, no, you know, ask God. Ask God to raise her.
The kidnapping had just turned into a murder. Speculation about possible suspects begins immediately, and no one can be ruled out.
I know who killed JonBenet. There's no doubt in my mind who killed JonBenet.
And the grand juror, who thinks he knows too.